alive!
Talking about guns and suicide prevention and how we work collaboratively with the gun community and with the people we are serving.
It's not something just for schools to address. It's not for just the police or the first responders. It's how can we all address this together.
This lady knows what the hell she's doing.
Just throwing the word clip around like they got a neener in their waistband.
Don't tell me what to do.
Elaine, I would never make that mistake.
You've got to develop trust. You've got to develop mutual respect.
You really did move the language away from politics, away from rights, away from good or bad to words like fatal, less fatal, safe, more safe.
A lot of folks don't realize that gun shop owners, if they do think that someone that's coming in to purchase a gun is struggling emotionally, will not sell them the firearm, that in fact does happen.
I think if you leave it just to gun enthusiasts, then you're going to get the suicide prevention messages wrong.
Okay.
If you leave it to just suicide prevention folks, you're going to get the gun messaging wrong.
And I think many mental health professionals, A, don't have a lot of experience with firearms, and B, aren't culturally competent around communities where firearms are important parts of their lives.
So being culturally competent doesn't mean that you have to try everything that your patients try.
There's a very distinct difference between what we know as a clip and a magazine. It's really important to be on the same page when you're talking about this language.
Because
So,
here's the truth about Chris Maxwell. We know if he's got his neener, he's straight tripping.
And I had to change out of a white jacket because I didn't want to get grease on my white jacket. And this is a little hard for me, so I may have to go off screen just because my hand strength is not great. Guys, and I just did my nails, so forgive me.
Putting time and distance between a suicidal person and a firearm could save their lives. Okay?
Set up, you have a magazine which is not in there. It would be in front of the trigger.
Firearm owners are more likely to die by suicide than non-owners. And it's not because they're more likely to be depressed or more likely to be suicidal, but if they make an attempt with a gun, because guns are so lethal, they are much more likely to die in that attempt, which is why reducing access to them is so critical.
When we're doing safety planning, even if the plan is not firearm, we should be asking about firearms in the home and addressing that as part of our safety plan, even when that isn't the stated preferred means.
So understand the language, understand the research, and don't push anyone away.
And I'm sorry, I just can't quite get the camera. So I pulled this back, and so you know that just like on my other gun, there's a safety lock that's right there. So I pulled this back and locked it so that we can do this. And this is just as easy. So even though this looks big and scary, very, very similar business, it's going to get secured relatively the same way.